talk about grid template areas. So I have some content here. I have a main. I have a header section with a headline and a subhead. I have an aside, which is like a sidebar in HTML5 with just a headline. Then I have a section, which I'm using as kind of like the main content, that has a headline and has some text. And then I have a footer. Now I want to use grid to be able to break up those areas onto the page. And the way that I'm going to do that is with grid template areas. So the way grid template areas works is that you define the area and you define it across the rows and columns. So I have grid template columns, and actually I just realized since I only have 2 columns defined, I only need to declare twice what's going to happen here. And then I have, for grid template rows, I have 3 rows. So if you look at this, what you can see is this would be the top row, this would be the second row, this will be the third row, and then you define what goes in that row. So basically what I'm saying here is that I want the header to be across the top, I want my sidebar to be on the left, I want my content to be on the right, and then I want my footer on the bottom. And none of that's happening right now. I've got some basic styling here for all the content areas, background colors, font styles and stuff, but nothing's working right now. So the way you use the template areas is you apply them to the sections that you want. So let's say, for example, the header, I just say grid area, and the header would be header. And you can see that the header now takes up that whole top row because I've defined header, header. And then the next section would be the aside. And I'm going to say grid area sidebar, because that's how I called it. And then that slides over to the left. The content is kind of already doing what it's supposed to do, but you can see that the footer's not. So we have to continue. So then I can say section, and I'm going to say grid area is content. And that doesn't change anything. Like I said, it's slid over to the right there anyway. And then for the footer, the grid area on that is going to be footer. And now you can see that that slides into place. So the footer is here across the bottom, and then the header's across the top, and we have our sidebar, and then we have the content. Now if you wanted to flip these sections, we can do that. So if I wanted to, I can say content, sidebar, and that would flip the 2 sections. Not optimal, but it's something that is possible. So this is more what I intended. So with areas, you can just define, this is what I want to go into this row, this is what I want it to go into this column. It just makes it a little bit easier for designers to understand how to use grid in order to put things into specific locations.